Guys, my name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and I'm your friendly neighborhood finance professor. And today I want to answer your questions about Black wealth, the stock market, Black economics, and more. What I'm going to do is I'm going to read questions that you guys submitted. If you'd like to submit questions to me directly, feel free to do a 1 month free trial at the blackstockmarketprogram.com. That's a place where the students send me questions. And so I answer these questions publicly. But if you want me to answer your question, I can answer your question directly. I can put your name on the video and do a short video for you as a student enrolled in the blackstockmarketprogram.com. So feel free to go take a look and do a 30-day free trial if that's something that's of interest to you. So let's get started. Let's talk about investing, the stock market, and more. The first question is from Miss Nicole Petty. Now, Nicole Petty has sent in her question, and Nicole's question is, what's the best thing to teach teenagers about their credit score and building credit? So Nicole wants to know about teenagers building credit and what's the best thing to teach your kids about credit and credit scores. Well, the interesting thing about credit scores is that credit scores are there are formulas out there that show you exactly what a credit score is composed of. The number one factor in a credit score is whether you pay on time. So I think the most important thing to teach kids is that when it comes to building credit, you don't bite off more than you can chew. Basically, don't write a check that your butt can't cash. Make sure that if you borrow money, that you pay it back, or if you have a bill due every month, you pay that bill on time, because that is what is going to be the number one factor in your credit score. And then obviously other factors pop into play, like being consistent over long periods of time allows the credit agency or the creditor to know that you're good for the money. Your debt level. A lot of people get in trouble with too much student loan debt in an early age. So keep telling your child to avoid bad debt, lots of bad debt. Bad debt is a bad thing. And what else would I throw in there? I think that with the goal, if you think about what the goal is to say, hey, look, I'm loaning you my money. Are you going to pay me back? So that repayment history, that debt load, those tend to be the top two factors. And then other things like, consistency when it comes to your job or how long you've lived in a certain place, things like that. So I would sort of talk to them about that. And the general idea is that if you don't take on too much debt and you pay back what you owe, you're going to usually have a pretty good credit score. Also teaching them the creditor's bill of rights and the rights that they have to challenge any mistakes on their credit score. I think that goes a long way. So that's the first question. All right. So the next question comes from Ronnie C. Ronnie, his question is the following. Ronnie submitted this question, where he's asking, Doc, I've lost a few options because I didn't buy enough time, usually less than 30 days. However, I recall you telling us that when you do buy options, you buy with up to 2 years out. While these options cost more, chances of making money over time increases consistently. But do you often sell early? That's a great question. And here's the deal with options. When it comes to my stock options, when I am on the buy side, I like for time to be on my side. I don't like the short-term options because I feel like that's gambling. So ultimately what I tend to do is when I buy my options, I give myself a couple years so that, because I know over 2 years, a lot of things can happen in the stock market. And so therefore I'm not really sort of sweating over what's going to happen this week. The general market trend over the last 12, 13 years has pretty much almost always been upward if you give yourself enough time. Now, the problem obviously is that you have this thing called time decay, which can undermine your option value over time. But in general, I've won pretty well on the buy side when I give myself plenty of time. Now, on the sell side, I like to sell shorter term options, and that's a whole other conversation. But if you want to know more about stock option investing, I actually have a whole class at stockoptionsmasterclass.com. Feel free to take a look. The URL is right there on the screen. Now, the next question that was submitted was also from Ronnie. He says, Doc, what's your strategy in picking good strike prices for paying significant money to buy the stock back if it exceeds strike price when selling a call option? So when I sell a call option, I don't have to buy the stock back if the option goes in the money. I do covered calls. I don't do naked calls. Naked calls is when you sell the option where you don't own the stock. that gets you in trouble. That it feels like you're getting squeezed. It feels like almost like a short squeeze. I don't do that. I try to cover. I'm not into gambling with my family's wealth. But I know where the easy money is. And I think that with options and learning to sell them, especially, is a great way to get consistent income on a portfolio. So again, the stockoptionsmasterclass.com if you're interested in that kind of thing. Now you're asking, what do you do? Do you let the stock option expire and forfeit your shares, or do you buy the option back at whatever price and sell another call option? That's a good point. Well, so at that point, Ronnie, my decision process is, do I really want to, hold on to the stock or not? And at that point, I'll evaluate what I think about the options premium and what the price differential is, meaning how deep in the money is the option. If the option is not too deep in the money, or I really want to own that stock, I will go back and buy the stock back. Also, you have to have the cash flow to do that. So if you have a stock that's gone way into the money, then you may end up, not having the cash necessary to do what you want to do. So you may have to wait for the shares to expire so you can get cash on hand and buy back what you can. You may only own 90% of what you had before, but you'll still have the same ownership in terms of dollar value. Actually, you'll have a higher ownership in terms of dollar value if the original option you sold was actually out of the money. So I hope that this helps. And there we go. All right. So the next question submitted today is a question from Barbara. It looks like Barbara Azinga sent in her question. So Barbara, let me get to your question, Barbara. I'm going to find your question. All right. So Barbara Azinga would like to know, am I too late to sign up for Lene Javet's course? Sent an email, but no response. Okay. Yeah, Lene Javet teaches a course on how to how to create an online class. And I don't know if her discount is still there. That discount was offered sort of a one-time only. But if you want to go take a look, it's cheaper than a lot of the other programs I've seen out here, and Lene is really good. I've worked with her. So the URL for her program is course2currency.com. A lot of people are making a ton of money teaching classes online. So you may want to look into that if you have a skill that you'd like to share with people, if you have an expertise, if you went to school, if you have been on the job for a while, or you even have skills. Anytime anybody's asking you, hey, can I pick your brain? That pretty much says that you should probably be teaching an online course. So course2currency.com can help you get started with that. So feel free to go take a look at that. All right. So the next question is that was submitted. These were submitted through the blackstockmarketprogram.com. The next question that was submitted was from Kaleche. Kaleche is asking, is it smart to invest a little into Bitcoin every now and then to get a fraction of the share since it's projected to reach over 100K by the end of the year? Or is it too late to jump in? Let me just say this one time. I do not believe it's too late to jump into Bitcoin. I believe Bitcoin has a lot of potential. I believe Bitcoin is going to be, in the black in a significant way relative to where it is right now. Now, the challenge that you have with Bitcoin is that Bitcoin is being hated on a little bit by the Treasury Secretary, Janet Yellen, who did a really terrible speech recently where she pretty much said Bitcoin is dangerous. It's too volatile. Nobody's using it. It drains up all the energy. So basically what they're doing is they're trying to position you to dislike and to fear Bitcoin so that they can offer their own alternative. And that's a power play, because if you control the money supply, then you control a lot of power. So they're basically challenging the idea of having an independent libertarian monetary system that they do not control. But at the end of the day, they've got the tanks and the guns and the missiles. So it's hard to argue with somebody who owns all the tanks, all the guns, and all the missiles. Now, if you want to see my crypto portfolio, you can actually go there. Just sign up on the email list, and I'll show you my crypto portfolio for free. It's drboycrypto.com. I took a little screenshot there, so you can go take a look at that. All right. So the next question is. It looks like the next question is from Mr. Sean Brown. So Sean Brown is asking, Dr. Boyce, with stocks, you can generate income by way of call options and dividends. How can I generate income investing in cryptocurrency investing? Well, Sean, you know what? When it comes to generating income from crypto, that's not as easy as generating income from options. A lot of people might just, have a process where they might sell the upside. They might, if it goes up in value, they might sell the profit and keep the original asset base, or they might sell the asset base and keep the original profit, or they might wait until they have a liquidity event where they just need to sell. They might hold on until they have to sell. Another option is that with DeFi, and as well as Coinbase, they actually offer you the opportunity to borrow money against your crypto. So that might be an option that you may want to look into. But ultimately, in terms of generating income from the crypto, that's a little bit tougher to do. Options, I find that selling stock options is the most consistent methodology for developing or getting consistent income. I actually treat my stock options like rental property, where I get my family income every week from the options that I own. So I like to own assets and just sell the options in order to make money. And so once again, the URL for the options program is stockoptionsmasterclass.com. So feel free to go take a look at that. Also, you go to drboycrypto.com if you want to see my crypto portfolio. All right. So the next question is, it looks like that's from Christopher. Christopher is asking a question now. So let me pull up Christopher's question that he submitted to me. I'm answering all the questions that were submitted. That's what I'm looking at. Right. That's the screen I'm looking at right now. Okay. So Christopher Graham is asking, hello, Dr. Watkins. I'm curious to have your perspective about if banks gave out more loans to more people in general, what could some of the possible outcomes be? I imagine that they do not give blacks more loans because, one, they do not like us, and two, they do not want us to succeed. Well, let me just say this, Christopher, you're 100% correct. Banks do not loan to black people because they don't like you. They don't put you at the front of the line, and you don't demand it. You don't ask the government. You don't force the government to give you access to capital, so you have no access to capital. And so one of the things that I do in my family when we were having trouble getting the funding that we needed is we actually formed a family bank. We actually figured out ways that you can, because all a bank is a collection of resources that's being used, where capital is being allocated to specific purposes and being borrowed and loaned between people. So we created a family bank where we pull together our resources, we build some asset bases that allow us to dig into that asset base in order to get what we need. So it's a lot like putting a bunch of apple trees in your backyard, and whenever you get hungry, you just go get an apple. So imagine having a farm where you've got apple trees and pigs and cows and plants and vegetables that you're growing. Well, whenever you get hungry, you can just go out into the field and go get you something to eat. You don't actually have to. You don't actually have to go get a job. You don't actually have to go beg your neighbor. You literally have everything you need at home. So these are sort of the concepts. This is what we talk about the most in the Black Business School, and that's what makes the Black Business School different. Is that we're not really interested in teaching you how to depend on a system that's consistently failed you. Maybe one day white people will become wonderful people and they're going to start doing great things for Black people. We don't think that day is coming anytime soon. So we found a workaround using my doctorate in order to develop methodologies that are unique and specific that help you get this thing done. In fact, one of the new programs we have is the Economic Survival Plan. And right now, actually, if you listen to this live right now, there's actually a massive discount, 48%. So the URL is economicsurvivalplan.com. That's what we do. That's how we think. We tend to sort of think, how do we get around the middleman? The middleman is AKA the white man. It's not a racist thing. It's just a factual thing. I'm tired of us waiting on other people to do things for us when we could do things for ourselves. Okay, so let me go to the next question. It looks like the next question is from Mr. Melvin. Melvin says, when I buy a piece of Bitcoin through Robinhood, how do I determine the value? Is there another platform like Robinhood that you recommend? Okay, so Bitcoin is interesting, Melvin, because Bitcoin, nobody really knows what the fundamental value of Bitcoin is. Nobody knows. People speculate. They've compared it to gold. The thing about the value in Bitcoin is that it comes down to the eye of the beholder. If you compare it to gold, then people will say, okay, gold has a $2 trillion total market value. So if you compare Bitcoin to digital gold, then that means that Bitcoin is going to go in the direction of gold. If Bitcoin becomes worth 20% of what gold is worth, then Bitcoin will have a value of $146,000 within the next 2 or 3 years. That's what JP Morgan says. But then there are other people who say, no. Bitcoin's going to go up higher than that because not only is it digital gold and a store of value, but it's also going to be used, it's going to be used for utility purposes. People just because are going to use Bitcoin to make transactions, which is going to increase the demand for Bitcoin. You increase the demand of a commodity and you minimize the supply, then you're going to end up having a higher price point. Okay, that argument makes sense. Or then there are some people like Warren Buffett and Janet Yellen who say Bitcoin is trash. Bitcoin sucks up all the energy, has a bigger carbon footprint than all of New Zealand. Bitcoin is it's used for illegal transactions. Bitcoin is highly illiquid. Bitcoin is it's too volatile, right? And they say that Bitcoin has no value at all. So if you ask people what the value of Bitcoin is, you're going to get 1,000 different answers from 1,000 different people, and all of these people are experts. So what I would just say overall is that it's hard to peg the value of Bitcoin. Where I peg the value of Bitcoin is in its potential and also in its popularity. I see a lot of popular people that want Bitcoin, popular people in the sense of respected financial experts and institutions that have bought into Bitcoin. I see a lot of retail investors buying into Bitcoin, and I see the scarcity of Bitcoin as being an upside sort of thing where it's going to be rare. The amount of people that want to buy it exceeds the amount of people that want to sell it. Well, when you have demand exceeding supply, basic economic theory 101 tells you that the price is going to go up. So therefore, I'm a fan of Bitcoin. Now, what are the different places to trade Bitcoin? Sure, you can get it on Robinhood, you can get it on Cash App, you can get it on Coinbase, you can get it on then you can go to the other exchanges, Bittrex, or you can put it on a digital wallet. There's a lot of different ways to do that. So this week, if you happen to be in the Black Wealth Bootcamp, or if you're not in the Black Wealth Bootcamp, this week we're actually going to have the Gentlemen of Crypto come through into the bootcamp to talk to our students and answer 1,000,001 questions about how to get started with crypto and where to store it and how to do it and everything. We're going to ask them 1,000,000 questions. So if you want to join the Black Wealth Bootcamp, it's a lifetime membership for your entire family. You can go to every bootcamp that we have in any time in the future, and you can view all previous bootcamps. Like last week, we had Lene Javette talk about how to make money with an online course. Before that, we had Julian Gordon talking about how to make money through real estate. Before that, we had Lamar Tyler explain how he's made $10 million or more online, right? So it's all of the bootcamp is all about reducing your independence on the corporate plantation. So if you're interested, you want to take a look, go to blackwealthbootcamp.com. Everything's recorded, everything's saved. It's all right there for you. So feel free to take a look. Okay. All right. So next question. Okay. So the next question is from Mr. Chris Wright. So Chris Wright is asking, how are premiums that you collect on stock options taxed? Well, Chris, let me just say this. Three people you don't want to piss off are the I, the R, and the S. The IRS is always there. They're always watching. They're always trying to get their money. Do not mess with the IRS. Report that. Any money that you make, report it to your accountant. There are accountants who are especially good at dealing with crypto, like Rebecca Samuel, who's an accountant that I work with. She's really good with crypto, but there are a lot of others out there. You must report that income. Do not try to get around the IRS. That's just not a good play. They tend to know everything. They're kind of like economic guides. They tend to know where everything's located at all times. So don't get yourself in those problems. No, you don't want those problems. You don't be like Diddy, more money, more problems. All right, next question. All right, so the next question. It looks like this question is from Mr. Al-Jihad Shabazz. Al-Jihad Shabazz. Okay, all right, so let's get to Mr. Mr. Shabazz's question. So Mr. Shabazz is asking this. He's asking, peace, dear brother. Peace to you as well. He says, I'm new to the stock market, and my question is, when the stock goes up and I choose to sell, can I then rebuy the stock as I receive my money? And how long does it take to receive your money after you sell? Well, great question, Al-Jihad. First thing I'll say is don't worry about getting started for the first time. Everybody starts somewhere, and I'm so proud of you for starting. You probably can't see as well as I can see what impact this is going to have on your family wealth. When you start investing in the stock market, what you've literally done just by taking that simple action is you've actually taken your family up a notch on the wealth stratosphere. They're now in a higher echelon in terms of wealth builders in this country, higher percentile, because what they show is that most millionaires invest in the stock market. Most millionaires become millionaires through stock market investing. So congratulations to you. If the stock price goes up, can you buy the stock right back? That was the first question. Yes, you can. Absolutely. What was the other part of this question? Oh gosh, I lost the other part of his question. I am so sorry. I will say this. I don't have it in my brain. Y'all got to forgive me. Sometimes I just stuff will literally go in when you're not the other. But what I'll say is that if you want to get comfortable investing, the best idea in terms of getting started is to do something consistently on autopilot, where you're consistently putting money into the market. Oh, how long does it take to get your money back? That was the second part of this question. If you trade on something like Robinhood, they'll do is they'll say, okay, well, we're sending your money over to your account right now, but it will usually take about 3 days, 2 to 3 days for that money to get to the account. So it doesn't instantaneously go into the account, but they do actually have something where if you get an upgrade on the account, they can give you instantaneous credit if you choose to buy right away, right? So it doesn't take that long, but I encourage you to try to get in the habit of buying things more than you're selling. Just kind of keep your money over there and keep adding into it. And then what you're doing is you're building yourself an asset base. When you build an asset base, you're building up economic protection. Economic protection is what helps you avoid economic calamities. Okay, so there we go. All right. So I hope that helps answer your question. Okay, so the next question, and by the way, the stock market program, the URL is right there, the blackstockmarketprogram.com. The first month is free, so feel free to do that. Everybody in the Black Stock Market Program, they email me questions every week. I answer every single question. I give each student a unique video where I'm specifically answering their specific question in that specific video. So if you have more questions that you want to send to me, just send them. I will rattle off the answers, and this is fun for me. So feel free to send me whatever you got. All right, Daryl Brown is asking. He says Merrill Lynch wants me to invest at least $5,000 in a traditional or Roth IRA. They pick my investments and I monitor the activity, when to buy or sell the stock. I don't understand how the stock market works, so I joined your course to get some guidance on what to do and how to do it. Moderate account. Okay, I think that's very good. And I'm going to tell you, Daryl, in the blackstockmarketprogram.com, if you just sit back and you just watch the videos, you know, like you're gonna walk away knowing more about the stock market than 95% of all people, because that's what I wrote my dissertation on. So I teach differently from everyone else because I know where all the gold is buried. I know where all the bodies are buried. I know where all the treasures are, and I know where all the wasted time is. I've taught experts. I teach experts how to go be experts for other people. I taught people who have PhDs now. So what that means is that I like to break it down and simplify it. Like, so there's a lot of stuff where I'll say, you know, a lot of people think they have to spend all this time going through annual reports and doing this and doing that. No, actually, they just need to look at this, or they just need to follow that. And this isn't just based on, you know, sort of false experience. There's a lot of people who think that they're stock market experts because they made money in the market. What they don't realize is that everybody's making money in the market. So when everybody's making money, then everybody feels like they're winning. Everybody feels like they're a genius, right? The question is when the market starts to plummet, which is going to plummet, by the way. The stock market will crash soon. It is on a bubble. You're going to see a lot of bloody bodies in the street. A lot of these high flying companies, SPACs, things like that, are going to get body slammed. When the economy is going to typically probably happen when inflation starts to hit and the economy starts to overheat, because the stimulus, the vaccine, and the inflationary pressure that's going to come from pent up demand is going to probably cause your stocks to crash. So that's where I'm going to be looking to see who's doing what and who's making money. Is how are you going to do when the market crashes? A lot of people don't know what to do in those situations, because now a blind, deaf dog who never learned this thing in his life, a blind, deaf puppy could make money in the stock market. It's that easy. The only people that are dumb in this market right now are the people who are not investing. So those who are not participating, I feel sorry for those poor people, because they don't know what they're missing out on. So there we go. So just go through the program, watch the videos. You'll figure it all out. It'll all make sense. And then also, if it doesn't make sense and you're a little bit nervous, then you can do things like you can just buy a mutual fund. Let the mutual fund experts kind of do it for you. Or another thing we have is the Black Stock Market Weekend. I put that together. I did a whole weekend intensely where I put together a whole methodology on exactly how I pick my stocks. I went through I did 11-step methodology that I call the Dr. Boyce method that I use personally to buy my stocks. And I have made a ton of money in the stock market. So this stuff works. So feel free to go take a look at the blackstockmarketweekend.com if that's of interest to you. Okay. So next question. The next question comes from Eric. Mr. Eric is asking us today. He said, what crypto platform do you use? I have some Bitcoin and Cash App, but I want to use a better platform. The platforms I use, and I will admit that I don't go as deep as some of my friends who are crypto experts, but the crypto platform that I use is I use Bittrex, and I use Bittrex, Binance, and Binance, and also I have some crypto on Cash App. I have some crypto on Coinbase, and my crypto friends kind of get on me. They're like, "Oh, Boyce, you shouldn't have it on Coinbase. You should have a digital wallet." Blah blah blah. And I'm just like, I don't care. I just don't care. And that's one thing about finance, is that sometimes you can know that you're doing something that's not exactly optimally efficient and perfect, but you just don't care. You're like, yeah, I know I can make an extra few dollars by doing it this way, but I could reduce my transaction cost by 1/3%, but I just don't care. Because I just think I like the big picture of crypto. I like the simplicity of it all. And that's something that I want you guys to understand as you're building wealth, is that there are some things that are more important than money. Like I am completely convinced that your peace of mind is more important than your money. So when you have enough money, but let's say you're short on time or you're high on stress, well, I think it's okay to let go of money to get rid of stress. So there are a lot of times where I'll be like, if I sat down and spent 2 hours working on this thing, I could probably save myself $500. But then I'll be like, I don't want to do that because I want to spend time with my kids, or I want to go take a nap, or I want to go in there. Y'all know, if y'all know, I got a Twitch channel. Look up Dr. Boyce Watkins on Twitch. I got a Twitch gaming channel. I play Xbox and Call of Duty. That's my favorite game right now. And I'm trying to last more than 30 seconds without getting my head blown off by a 12-year-old. But I do that because I'm not going to sit around here constantly obsessing over money and worshiping money. Money should liberate you. It shouldn't make you a slave. So that little tangent, the point of that little tangent is to say, go get your money, but you get your money so you can then focus on the things that are more valuable than money, because there is gold on the other side of that financial rainbow. Don't get so caught up in the worship of money that you forget about what's out there for you. Okay. So I hope that also answered the brother's question, but I want to make that particular point. But again, it's your choice to decide how you want to approach this sort of thing. All right. So the next question is from Al Jihad. Al Jihad is asking, I'm new to stocks. I've started to invest in Robinhood, Acorns, and Coinbase. My question is, what do I need to know? What I need to know? How do you withdraw your money from your investment when you see it go up? And if I cash out, can I reinvest in that stock? Yeah. On all the apps, they tell you pretty much, they usually have a button that says, something basic like withdraw or something, right? They make it very easy. Most of them should make it easy for you to get your money back. If they don't make it easy for you to get your money back, then that's a warning sign. That means you might not want to mess with that app. But with Robinhood, if you just hit withdraw, like they'll tell you how much you want to withdraw, and then you can pull your money out and it'll be in your bank account in 2 or 3 days. And also when you sell a stock, you can buy it right back. I mean, there are people that do that. Day traders, they'll buy and sell, buy and sell, buy and sell. And investing is like music. Like everybody has a style, right? So the question is figuring out, what is your style of investing? What do you prefer? And then at that point, you can kind of decide how to move on from there. All right. So next question is from Nikita. Nikita is asking, hello, Dr. Boyce. What are your thoughts on futures, indexes, and bonds? I like them all. I don't participate heavily in all of them, though. Index funds, I do a lot of, because index funds are great if you want to set it and forget it. That's where you're trying to become what David Bach refers to as an automatic millionaire. Automatic millionaires are basically people who just buy a bunch of stuff consistently every week on autopilot, and they don't even think about what they're buying. They just put their money inside of a mutual fund or index fund, and next thing you know, they wake up one day, and they're millionaires, or they have 100,000 liquid in their bank account and they can quit their job. That's almost like, imagine going on a long journey in space where they put you in a cryo chamber and they put you to sleep, and then when you wake up, you're next to Jupiter. Well, that's kind of what it feels like to sort of do the index fund approach to building wealth. It's very easy to do. It's so easy to do. It's not complex at all. In fact, actually, I have the $5 a day investing plan that literally shows you exactly how to do that, how much money you'd have after a certain amount of time. If you go to the allblackagenda.com, you can actually pick up a copy of that. And that literally is my way of saying to you, come on, man, don't be scared. Don't overthink it. A lot of us get scared because we don't know what's going on. Believe me, I know this stuff extremely well. This is my thing. I was the only black man on the planet to get a PhD in finance during the year 2002. I was smarter than all the white kids. So I can tell you with complete certainty that if you don't overthink it and you take the simplified approach, it's very easy for anybody to become a millionaire in this country, or to become financially secure, meaning $100,000 in liquid wealth that you can draw upon whenever you need it. The key idea, though, is you got to start. You got to be consistent. You can't sit on the sidelines. If you sit on the sidelines, then you're missing it all. And a lot of you have relatives that have literally cursed you by convincing you to sit on the sidelines and be scared. One of my friends always says, scared money don't make money. And what she's basically saying is that there's a positive relationship between risk and reward. That's all she was saying. And she's right. Scared money don't make money. If you sit on the sidelines scared, you will not make money. If you do not have the ability to delay gratification, you will not make money. If you do not have the ability to plant a seed, then you will not have a harvest. So whenever somebody says that they're struggling, they're broke, and they don't have anything, but yet they've had jobs, they've been gainfully employed, they've had income, they maybe got a pair of Gucci shoes or a pair of Air Jordans that they bought. I think the question you should just ask that person just very politely is, well, where did you plant your seeds? What seeds did you plant? It's like, because to expect to have wealth when you ain't been investing, it's like going to a store and expecting a refund when you never bought the product. Right? How can you expect a refund when you never bought the product? You ain't put nothing in, you won't get nothing out. You know, and that just goes for anything in life. I mean, we know this, right? I think y'all know this because that's why you're here. But I want to reiterate that to you just as a basic core value. A lot of things about success are not complex. They're very simple. It's very straightforward stuff, actually. Success is actually pretty simple. It's get off your butt, be consistent, and have a little bit of courage, and just do what you say you're going to do. Plant a seed. If you plant seeds, then you have a harvest. If you don't plant seeds, then you won't have a harvest. It's kind of basic like that. And actually, I want to offer you guys something for free. There's a life class I actually have. I love giving advice, especially to young people, because young people, y'all get a bunch of terrible advice from rappers and stupid people on TV that don't know what they're talking about and complete failures in life. And I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm Mr. Perfect, but I have accomplished some things. I got my PhD, and very few people were able to do that. Every black person I started my doctoral program with did not make it, or the most of the people that I knew didn't make it, and that was because they had a different mindset. I know what it's like to make money. I've made plenty of money. I've also found, most importantly, happiness and peace in my life, and I just really think that the advice that a lot of young people get is just bad advice. And so if you want my spin on how to be successful in life, how to succeed as a human being, I have a life class. It used to cost money. I made it totally free because I want young people to get access to this. And we can't do everything for free in the Black Business School because we're running a business and we hire people and we got to pay them. But this is free. So the URL right there on the screen is blackkeystogreatness.com. I do not talk about finances and investing. I talk about success. I talk about time management. I have an extremely careful time management system that I use that allows me to appear to be the most productive man in the world, even though I probably take 2-3 naps a day sometimes, but I look like I'm always productive. Well, there's a process, there's a system to that. I talk about dealing with haters, dealing with adversary, overcoming, doubts and jealousy and all these other things, and setting goals and actually accomplishing them, instead of being all these people that talk about what they're going to do and never doing it. All that's in Black Keys to Greatness. So if you want to succeed and you have anything about me that you maybe look at and say, okay, I respect that, I want to learn that, I'd like to learn the game from the OG. I'm 49, I'm not 29, right? Then you can call this the Dr. Boyce OG class. It's blackkeystogreatness.com. I hope that it helps you. I want to see you succeed. I want to see you be great, and I want to see you on top of the world. Okay, so I'm going to get out of here. And one more thing I'll mention is we have a mini class that we're offering this week. I'm going to do a special lecture with that mini class on how basically we do our family business meetings every week, and I'll tell you guys how we do it in our family. And also, you get access to the curriculum, and it's lifetime access, and it's a mini class. It's really great. It'll take no more than 2 hours to go through it. It's the economicsurvivalplan.com. So feel free to go there, and if you want to understand economic survival, the self-defense of economics, like how what economic self-defense looks like, how to protect yourself through the use of money and wealth, feel free to go to economicsurvivalplan.com. The sale lasts for another 24 hours. It's 48% off. So feel free to go take a look. And that's it. All right. So I got to run. Have a good night, everybody. It's good talking to you. And I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.